Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is a 2-for-1 sale today, because I had fun streaming the first TMNT game, and I think it would be a novel idea to actually go and stream for the first time TMNT, the arcade game. Now, that by far is my favorite TMNT game of all time. And I know a lot of people really like Turtles in Time, and I do too, but I gotta hand it to you, like as I said in the last stream, TMNT the arcade game is something that is just timeless for me. Hey, I have the arcade 1-up over there, and even though what's on the arcade 1-up is definitely in this collection as well, and literally is just straight emulation from that, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, to me it's just a big piece of my childhood, as I said in the last one. So without further ado, this is the first time ever I'm going to be streaming this one. So this one is truly something special. So enough from me. Let's go. I can't accurately say how much money I pumped into that game as a kid, whether that be at the mall, whether that be at the airport, or whether that be at just some random arcade it just happened to be in. Definitely a big piece of my childhood, for sure. And obviously you can tell we're streaming this from the Cowabunga collection. It's just the epitome of awesomeness is this collection. Also, I gotta point out that I think it's awesome that it includes maps for TMNT 3 Radical Rescue, which is one game I have not completed the original game for. But so it's right there. So let's see what enhancements we got for this one before we go further, because obviously every game has enhancements. Set starting level off, so you can start any level. God mode, we don't need that. Immune to most damage, you don't need that. Penalty bomb, no, I don't need that. Nightmare mode, so I don't really need to put any of these on because you have infinite lives anyway. One thing that's different is that you pick your character beforehand. Again, I positioned it just right. It's not 100% bad, but let's start with some more lives. Shit.
Fire! Hang on, April.
When I lose all my lives, I'll add more lives, don't worry. That's one thing when you learn how to do this, it becomes very useful to you. You have to hit it just about right to do it. Because in the NES game, in the NES version of this, it's a lot different. Specifically like, see how I'm doing a little bit, I do more damage just by doing the normal attack, not so much in the NES version. Like, the jump attack is probably the best way to get through the NES version. Doing a lot better than I did on my first playthrough, though. Come to think of it, like, when I had the copy of the NES version, when I was a youth, at times it seemed like a longer game. I really like the borders though in this game. In all the games.
Say your prayers, Turtle.
It would have been awesome if they included the actual voice actors from the arcade, the cartoon in the arcade game. I thought as a kid that they were, but boy, that was easy. Not as easy as it most playthroughs of this. But it's so great to finally have this, you know, on consoles. Like, not that it hasn't been available before, but every time that it's been available in some form or another, it's always gone away. Whether that be the Xbox Live Arcade, was the first time I played it, which is literally the arcade game with the original theme song, not the one you get in this collection. Well, that does sound like James Avery, though, the voice sample. Okay, we're about to lose our lives, so... Yep. And he's always crying at the top there. Why not? This should last us a while. Again, as a kid, this was the king for me, this game. Like, wherever it was, always wanted to play it. Now, if you've ever played the NES version of this, you'll notice, if you remember correctly, there was a cross promotion with Pizza Hut.
Pizza time.
I could go for some pizza right now, actually. But the thing about it was that the NES version in the manual came with a coupon for a personal pan pizza. And I remember there were advertisements in the NES version of the arcade game with Pizza Hut. Like, you know, there's a sign coming up. I don't think it was in the actual original arcade game, but it definitely was in the NES version. Like, there's a sign here that's gonna fall, like up there, the billboard. In the NES version, it's the Pizza Hut sign. The levels seem a lot shorter though than the NES version. Well, the NES version got 2 extra levels as well as 2 extra bosses. It's unique to that game, and then obviously certain boss fights were rearranged or changed in the NES version.
You are dead. Shell brain. Ain't getting any prettier. Watch your mouth.
They didn't have the dialogue speech bubble, at least with the bosses they didn't. Not with Bebop and Rocksteady anyway. But again, Shredder's Revenge also, total like nostalgic factor. Pays homage to like not only the cartoon but the games of the past. Like Turtles in Time, this one obviously. Everything from level design to boss design, everything. But you can get like, you know, what do I say? Bored of it. Like if you like play it too much, definitely. Even though it's as good a game as it is, Shredder's Revenge I'm talking about. You definitely can get a little bit bored with it, especially if you're playing it too long. But there's definitely more positives about that game than negatives. So far, the first 3 levels that we've played are exactly the same in the NES version. The levels are just like shorter in stature. And obviously the music is different in the NES version. At least some of the levels. That was there. But for the hardware limitations of the NES at the time, they did a great job with the arcade game. And I still have it, complete in box to this very day. TMNT is definitely like one of my top properties as a kid, like with relation to gaming. And then it was synonymous with Konami, like back in the day. I always thought Konami was like... Konami and Capcom were definitely the cream of the crop when it came to the arcade scene. And a lot of their home franchises too. Most of them anyway, I was a fan of. Oh. I'm doing a lot better than I did the first time around when I was playing this. I kept doing the infamous flying kick. Not that that won't work, it's just... Shit. There we go. Normally, the indication of boss's health is when they start to change color and flash. That's how you know they're getting weaker or they're near defeated. In the arcade version, it was divided into 5 levels altogether. But obviously, we're still technically in the second level. The second level in the NES version ended after the sewer portion. And the third level was, at least in the NES version, was one of the new levels, and then this portion. And instead of Bebop and Rocksteady at the end, like fighting the 2 of them together, it was Baxter Stockman as a fly. No. But if you played the NES version of this, which I have many times, the arcade game should be pretty familiar with you, like what comes out like around the corner, like this car, and then those guys, machine gun foot. They can be difficult to like attack, like once they get on a roll. Even in the NES version, they're hard to get rid of if you don't get them first before they get you. Why didn't it work? Get out of here. Take care of them. I haven't figured out yet how to switch to another turtle, like when I'm playing this, but I always start with Mikey anyway.
Keep the time.
I think Bebop's the harder of the 2. I love that. I don't know if they have that in Shredder's Revenge where they attack each other by accident. I think they do. But see how they're flashing? That means they're like near defeated.
Let's move it. I owe you one.
And this is the start of level 4 in the NES version. Oy, get out of here. We're gonna be like streaming TMNT games for a while. At least for the foreseeable future. At least the ones I'm familiar with. Like the only one in this collection, the only ones I'm not 100% familiar with are probably the Hyperstone Heist for Sega Genesis, Radical Rescue, the Genesis version of Tournament Fighters, and the NES version of Tournament Fighters. Pretty much every other game in this collection I've at least beaten at least once, if not multiple times.
Do not use this stuff.
Every now and then though, like even though now that I have this on consoles, I'll still like boot up the arcade one-up every now and then to play it, just to have that feeling, you know, of nostalgia. Like, I'm glad I bought it, like, as a birthday present for myself. And obviously, you know, that would be cool to have in an apartment or a house or whatever. I only needed that one game because I didn't feel that I needed the need to get Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, even though those would be nice to have those arcade one-ups. But arcade one-ups are definitely not cheap anymore. They're getting way more expensive. It's obviously when Juby was adopted, it was one of her favorite sleeping places. She slept on the arcade one-up every now and then. And even had some fun when I was playing it, like following the characters around on screen. How ironic that the character I'm using right now, Michelangelo, had a pet cat named Clunk. If you followed the comics, you'll know of that to be true. This would be the ideal game though to play either couch co-op or online, and it's definitely something I would like to play with like my friends from back in the day. The great thing about the Cowabunga collection is the amount of games in it for the price. Definitely worth it. I was considering the limited edition, and I did have it pre-ordered for a while, but then I just couldn't justify the high price tag on it. As much as I like the art books and, you know, standees and stuff like that. Standees I'm not such a big fan of, but art books I am. But I think I had to pass on that. Same with the limited edition of Shredder's Revenge, which came with a Shredder action figure that looked like the actual Playmates action figure from back in the day. I still think though, just the games itself were more than enough content, and definitely they went all out on this collection, at least for the extras, especially having the actual original manuals in, not in print form, but you know, as part of the extras or the museum portion of this game. Like, Digital Eclipse is definitely a company that should be praised for the work they do on all these retro compilations they do. Like this one, the Mega Man collections, the Street Fighter one. You know what would be nice though? They should make one for Mortal Kombat. Like, as in like Mortal Kombat collection 1, 2, 3, maybe even like 4. Like, I would definitely like to see that. or a Ninja Gaiden compilation of sorts. There's definitely a lot of retro gaming franchises out there that could definitely have, you know, bundles or collections or compilations like this. Because let's face it, like actual retro gaming itself, like to collect the games, is very expensive as a hobby now, and definitely a lot of slimy or scumbag tactics out there with the grading community. I'm glad though that there are companies out there like Digital Eclipse who provide us these childhood experiences for at least a decent amount of money that's affordable. So this is level 5 in the NES version.
We gotta save Splinter.
I noticed that they only have maps in the strategy portion of this for TMNT 1. Not any of the other ones. Not that I don't know where I'm going, but I just noticed it was only for TMNT 1. Maybe because everyone thought TMNT 1 is the hardest. That must be it. Don't get me wrong, it is probably one of the harder NES games in the NES library, but not totally unbeatable, as you saw in the first stream tonight. Definitely having trouble though trying to pull off the jump attack though. I don't always pull it off, as you can tell. On the arcade version I do, like the actual one, arcade one up. Notice some enemies are missing too. Like they're those little robot things that normally appear here. But pretty faithful though.
Oh no, it's that overgrown Splinter again.
That didn't take long. This is not as long a game as I once thought. Like the NES version is definitely much longer. But this one pays more nostalgic factor to the actual cartoon itself. At least I think it does. I think Konami had a hit on their hands when they knew tons of kids would want to play this game and then pump quarters into it forever and ever and ever. Get out of here, bum.
Keep the time. Good turtle.
If you ever remember episode 4 of the original cartoon, when General Trag and some other Stone Warrior came to Earth, I don't remember what the name of the other character was. I don't think they ever mentioned what the name of the other Stone Warrior was. He looked like this guy though.
Good turtle.
I thought it's cool though that in Shredder's Revenge, Trag is a mini-boss. And he even sounds like he does in the original cartoon. Some of the production level on games these days is, it must cost as much as, like, you know, a Hollywood movie, you know, to get the nostalgic feeling right. Like, Shredder's Revenge is definitely a labor of love for sure. And even this one is a definitely, the care is, it shows.
Thank you, my turtle.
And the final level.
There it is.
I've definitely got a better score than last time. I'm gonna be number 1. The Technodrome music is by far my favorite. Not too sure which came first, Follow the Foot Clan or the NES version of the arcade game.
Do not move this stuff.
Ah, my favorite part, the elevator. And the bowling balls come down. Just gives you an idea of how massive the Technodrome is. Definitely one of those hard to find toys too back in the day. And this one, General Track.
Crush the turtle.
Sounds the same as the other dude though.
Crush the turtle.
I remember if you, like, in the NES version, he fires a rocket from that machine gun or whatever. You get a point for every single rocket you destroy. Apparently you also get points for blocked projectiles like knives and shuriken. Oh, I should have got one more life. Come on.
Crush the turtle. Crush the turtle.
I wonder how much money we spent on this to, like, actually beat the game. Oh, they're okay. I think the most you can get is 9. No, you can have more. Wow, I didn't know that. No, we'll finish the game without having to continue again.
Crush the turtle.
Crush the rockhead.
Crush the turtle.
Krang.
I'm invincible.
I think Krang was definitely based off the Utroms from the comic book. Obviously, there's people who play arcade games a lot that they know the tricks and secrets to like actually get far in the game with little to less money. But obviously, I think most of us out there probably coughed up a lot of quarters to like actually see the ending of most of these arcade games.
I'm invincible.
I wish there was a way though, like you could switch between you know, the different turtles. There probably is. But maybe that's why they have that screen at the beginning. I can never tell which one is the real Shredder though. I think it's the one that fires that beam. Now they're both off, so now don't think he'll split in two this time. There you have it. Wow, half an hour for this one. Just over half an hour. Not too bad. The reason why I'm waiting is I want to see how high a score I got on this one. I think I got second the last time, but I do believe my point count is higher this time. Okay, let's see how high we got. Yeah, baby. I got the best. Oop. First. That's the way it should be. I love how it resets it though, all the time. Well, friends, thank you for tuning in tonight. Not just one, but twice for TMNT streams. This has been TMNT, the arcade game. Next time when we stream, it'll definitely be another short one. And no, I will not do it tonight. I am kind of tired. But it will be for Follow the Foot Clan, the first Game Boy game. We're doing them in order by release anyway. At least that's what I'm trying to do. The only one that I probably won't stream, the only ones are the ones that I mentioned. That being Hyperstone Heist, the Genesis version of Tournament Fighters, as well as TMNT 3 Radical Rescue, and the NES version. I just want to play those a little bit more, have some familiarity with them before I decide to stream them, when I could guarantee that there will be a victory at the end of this. Anyway, take care of yourselves, stay beautifully imperfect out there, and keep up the awesomeness, and stay beautifully imperfect. Take care.